Hi, good afternoon, Palo Alto College family and community. We're so glad that you're joining us here today. We have the amazing Dr. Lori Rodriguez here to talk to us about Heritage Month at Palo Alto. And she has an amazing lineup. And so we want to take some time to talk about Heritage Month, talk about some of the guests that will be coming and visit with us. So Dr. Rodriguez, thank you so much for joining us. Can you tell us a little bit about Heritage Month? You know, how did it start? How did we get there, and why is it so important to call it Heritage Month for the month?
So thank you so much for inviting me to talk about Heritage Month. I'm very excited about the lineup this year. So a little bit about Heritage Month. It is grounded within the Center for Mexican American Studies, which is the oldest Center for Mexican American Studies at the Alamo colleges, right there on the south side. We had amazing work that was done by Juan Tejeda, who was the director before, the coordinator before, and then when I came in, I hit the ground running and you know, try to fill his shoes, because he had done so much work ahead of time in really grounding this and making the Heritage Month event a really really significant and premier event throughout the city. And that's something that we're really proud of. I'm really proud to continue that legacy. And the reason we call it Heritage Month, it aligns with our National Hispanic Heritage Month, which is traditionally what it's been called throughout, right, the history of the celebration. But we've changed it for years now, several years now. It's been Heritage Month. And that's because the terms, ethnic terms, as we had in a panel last year, we had actually a TPR story that was done on that, is the terms are really significant and people hold them very personally, right? And what we name ourselves. And so, you know, Palo Alto is very aware of that. We are always in conversation with what we should or shouldn't name things, right? And so we've opened it up for conversation. We're still having that conversation. We had a really great panel last year, like I said. We've had some surveys go out to the students and staff and faculty to ask them what they think about these terms, how they identify, because we believe that we shouldn't impose things on people, right? It's their event, it's their community, this should be their voice. And so we try and honor that as much as we can. So that's why it's Heritage Month. But if you notice on the signage, right, you'll see that it's all the different types of ethnicities that people can identify as. And there's several that we do, and some that we hold more closely than others, right? So that's what the Heritage Month term means or tries to honor. And the content itself does focus on what some people call Latino, Hispanic, Mexican American, because we're in South Texas, right? That's something that's really important to know and understand is our heritage here as Mexicans and Mexican Americans, and those in the community that's very informed by that identity. Even if you don't consider yourself to be Hispanic or Latino, I think it's very important for you to be aware of the history and the culture that's really rooted in this environment. And so that's a little bit of the history and the reason for the unique name that some people, kind of wonder, why is it Heritage Month, right? So that's why we've decided to do that. And again, it's going to be an ongoing conversation for this event also. We're still going to be having those conversations about identity and ethnic identity terms, because they're changing. They're always changing and evolving, just as society does, right?
You know, Dr. Rodriguez, that's some great background and great history. And there was something also that we celebrate, and it's Indigenous Day. Can you tell us a little bit more about Indigenous Day and why that's so important to celebrate as well?
Yeah, so traditionally we all have heard of Columbus Day, right? It's October 12th, the first Monday of, or a specific Monday, right? It's October 12th this year. And we, as a higher education institution, I think it's our responsibility to critique, right? Think critically, right? It's one of our learning outcomes, right? We always have to think, well, why is it this way? Maybe we should, look a little deeper, as to why we celebrate this holiday, right? And what the holiday really means, and what it means to everybody, right? And so that's something that a lot of activists, right, specifically Indigenous, right, Native American activists have spoken out and said, you know, this isn't a great holiday for everybody, right? This is something that we really need to think about, right? Because there were a lot of things that occurred, right, with colonization that shouldn't be celebrated by some people, right? They feel like it shouldn't be a celebration, right? Maybe a day of, you know, honoring, right, that day and what that really means for everybody, right? And so that's kind of what we do with it's Indigenous Peoples Day. That's a term and a holiday that's been instituted now. And that is in lieu of Columbus Day, or, you know, in conjunction with, right? It depends on, right, who's celebrating it and what cities, right? And so we do have that in San Antonio. We have an Indigenous Peoples Day. Traditionally, it's on the 12th, and that's why we're having the panel that we're having. And it's going to be an Indigenous healing panel. And I'm really excited about that because I think it's really pertinent to the times that we're going through. And it's the title of that is going to be Indigenous and Chicanx Healing Practices During Times of Crisis. And it's going to be a really great discussion, but I'm also seeing it as a way for people to really find some tools to help them, you know, get connected with their Indigenous roots, which a lot of people don't realize we still have and we practice. Sometimes we don't realize they're Indigenous, right? And so we're going to have that conversation on how we're all being affected. All of us are being affected in these negative ways with this pandemic, but you have people of color and ethnic minorities that are being affected a lot more significantly, right? For various reasons, for historical reasons. And this panel is going to have, in conjunction with an Indigenous cooking, or it's a cooking demonstration. After that, we're going to have the plática. So we're going to have this really hands-on way of how we can eat more healthy, right? How we can incorporate these practices of healing, and they're going to be things that you can do yourself, right? They're going to bring tools on, you know, it's going to be psychological well-being, emotional well-being, physical well-being, herbs, spiritual well-being. So it's going to be a really holistic approach, right, to healing. And I'm really excited about that because it's going to be, like I said, really hands-on and a really in-depth conversation about Indigenous ways of healing.
Well, I tell you, this is it's amazing because we get to celebrate people. You know, we care about people at Palo Alto College, and we get to celebrate people during this month. Who's coming in to celebrate with us? Are there any key folks or any guest speakers that we have for this Heritage Month that will be joining us?
Yeah. We do. So we're excited about our lineup this year. We're going to have 2 keynotes. So we're going to have our first keynote on Tuesday, September 15th. We're going to have a little opening a talk to open up Heritage Month. And then we're going to introduce Cristela Alonso, who is a comedian, actress, writer, producer. She was the first Latina to create and star in her own sitcom, Cristela. She also is a stand-up comedian. She has a stand-up show that's on right now on Netflix. It's streaming. She was the voice in Cars 3, so that's another first. She was the lead in a Disney Pixar movie, right? So I'm sure, you know, we have a lot of things to ask her about those experiences. She also has a memoir that came out in 2017, that came out a little bit later. So she has a memoir also, and we're also going to be doing a giveaway because she sent some signed copies of her book, one in English, one in Spanish. So we're going to be doing a giveaway of those. So that's a really exciting event. I'm excited about that. And she's from San Juan. She's from the Valley. So okay. It's yeah, so it's really exciting. Wow. So we're going to have her kicking it off. And then we're going to have on Thursday, we're going to have Cheech Marin, who, if you don't know who Cheech Marin is, right? He's one half of Cheech and Chong, right? But you know, he's so much more than what we think of, you know, Cheech and Chong. He's not the character, right? He's an actor, director, writer, musician. He's also the biggest collector of Chicano, Chicanx art in the world. So he has a really amazing collection. He is going to be sharing, they let us know ahead of time that he's going to be sharing artists from San Antonio from his collection. That's going to be the focus of his talk. And so we're really excited about that. I teach Mexican American Fine Arts, and we talk about Cheech Marin's collection. And so I'm really excited to be able to have students talk to him, you know, and ask him. At the end, we're going to have a Q&A so students can ask questions of our different guest speakers. So that's another exciting kind of our keynote headliners. So we're starting off with our headliners, and then we're continuing with some really great other guest speakers. We're going to have Domingo Garcia, who is the national president of LULAC, which is the largest and oldest Hispanic organization in the nation, right? So we're going to be talking with him and the work that he's been doing for Hispanic and Latinx labor rights during the pandemic. They've been doing a lot of work advocating for people who are working in really hard conditions, really hard times, right? Who need that advocacy. So we'll be talking with him, and that's going to be on Tuesday, September 22nd, the next week. And then we're going to have another Plática with Ernesto Mireles, Dr. Mireles. He has a book that just came out last year. It's called Insurgent Aztlán, The Liberating Power of Cultural Resistance. And that is a 2020 International Latino Book Award winner. So he's going to be talking to us about his book. And I think it's very pertinent for the times, right? We talk about, you know, what's going on with regard to the socio-political landscape right now, right? We really need to have these critical conversations. And so I'm really excited to be hosting him. And, you know, we'll have information on how you can obtain a copy of his book. He's also donated a signed copy of his book to be given away at the talk. And then we're going to have National Poetry Day. So that's going to be another event, you know, that we're going to have the 11 Rivers Review students, but everybody's invited to participate. It's going to be an open mic, virtual open mic. So that's going to be a really great experience, really engaging, so that students can share their work, their poetry. And so we have that going on. And then we're going to have a crisis within a crisis, the domestic violence crisis during the coronavirus pandemic. That's another really important critical conversation that needs to happen, I think. Right now, you know, domestic violence, we heard last year, there was a big, there was a lot of talk about how Bexar County and the greater San Antonio area has had this really huge domestic violence problem, right? And that's caused, you know, a lot of state politicians. I know we had some congressmen at a town hall that I was at, because I'm also part of the advocacy groups in the city that bring awareness to it, because I'm a survivor of domestic violence myself. And so this is a huge issue. And then with the virus, you know, the pandemic on top of that, I mean, they're having a lot of people that are, you know, reaching out for help that, you know, that gets exacerbated with these really, really hard times. So that's going to be an event that we have also. It's going to be a Plática on October 5th, and that kicks off. That's actually Domestic Violence Awareness Month is October. So we timed it to align with that. And we feel like that's a topic that really is pertinent to the entire community, right? But also the Mexican American community, which is part of our focus on Heritage Month. And then we have one more event. We're closing out with Latinx Awareness Day, AIDS Awareness Day. And that's going to be with Ana de Luna. She does a solo play called The AIDS Lady. And that's going to be on Thursday, October 15th. And that's going to be a really important, another, you know, important event and conversation that we feel is important to bring to the table when we talk about, you know, the Latino community and health and wellness and these issues that are important to discuss. So those are the events that we're really excited to bring. And you know, we're hoping that not only Palo Alto College students and staff and faculty will attend, but these events are all free and open to the public, as they've always been. So you don't have to be a Palo Alto College student. You don't have to be affiliated with the Alamo colleges. You are asked to register ahead of time so that we can know how many people are anticipating attendance. You'll get the link to attend. And so we're really excited to be able to provide this virtually and reach a large population that maybe we wouldn't before, right? Without this challenge. So it's really interesting.
Well, this is an exciting month, Heritage Month at Palo Alto College. Dr. Rodriguez, thank you so much for taking the lead in bringing a wealth of information for our students in our community. We celebrate you, we celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month, and we're so excited for the upcoming events. And I know I will be there. I hope that others will too. And thank you for joining us this afternoon and telling us the amazing things that are coming in Heritage Month at Palo Alto College.
Thank you. I appreciate it.